Keeping devices up to date is a never-ending task for IT departments, especially with remote employees. And many organizations put some kind of a temporary band-aid solution in place during the pandemic. But now post-pandemic, as we embrace hybrid work and remote work becomes a permanent thing, we need permanent solutions. Bill Hamlin has been in IT service management for many years. So Bill, I'd like you to talk with us about OS updates and how to put a good OS update process in place for organizations who have a modern hybrid workforce.
Sure.
So first, tell us a little bit about what it means to do regular OS updates.
Applying regular OS updates offers many benefits. First and foremost, it's patching your security flaws. There are some additional ones, such as getting some feature updates. And there's also performance improvements. But most importantly, it's the security.
Okay. Now, which device categories are we mainly talking about and thinking about when we're talking about OS updates?
All device groups, from mobile devices to laptops. As far as operating systems, it's primarily Windows. A recent analysis of 80 million vulnerabilities show that 95% of those vulnerabilities targeted Windows OS.
That's amazing. 95% targeting Windows.
Correct.
Wow. So we really need to keep our Windows machines
That we do.
up to date. So what's the problem? What's the problem we're looking to solve? And talk to me about.
The problem we're trying to solve is remediating the devices in the remote workforce. That has grown over the past year and a half because of COVID. And companies are struggling with that and trying to have users connect over VPN or come into the office.
Bring a device physically into the office to receive an update.
That is correct.
And that's not happening like it should be. Yeah. So you've got machines out there that are being used by remote workers that are just not up to date.
That is correct.
And what are the implications of that?
The OS is getting stale. It has a lot of zero-day vulnerabilities that bad actors are trying to take advantage of. So it's really important that each organization stays on top of patching their devices.
And why do we need to solve this now? Why is this so urgent and critical?
People are going to continue working from home, and waiting is dangerous. As soon as an OS update is announced, that just gives an advantage to the bad actors to take advantage of it. So then it becomes a race between the bad actors and the company's sysadmins. Okay,
so an OS update is announced. Some details are in there. The bad guys know these are the bugs. They're then trying to exploit them. The software vendor is trying to come up with the fixes.
Right.
And then system administrators have to take those fixes and deploy them out to the last, furthest employee in the organization. So it really is a race, as you said, between the bad guys and the good guys.
Yes, it is.
That's amazing. So what does a good OS update process look like? What are the main components?
Sure. So Intune uses 3 steps in remediating the Windows environment. They use deployment rings. And think of it as throwing a rock into a pond. That causes a ripple effect. And each ring is essentially a collection of devices. So you can think of the smaller ring as your pilot user group, whereas the larger ring could be the bulk of your end users. So within each deployment ring, you can set a deferral period so you don't go beyond 30 days of installing a patch.
Okay, so you can define this update needs to happen within the next 30 days.
Correct.
And that's a mandatory step. Okay. How do you then monitor that and check the compliance status of all the devices?
Glad you asked. Microsoft also includes that reporting feature in endpoint and analytics.
Okay, so it's a combination of deployment rings to do the update, then defining the maximum deferral period for each of those groups, and then monitoring the compliance status in endpoint analytics.
Yes.
Can you give us some examples of organizations who you believe are doing a good job on their OS updates?
Sure. University of Tennessee, Alive Hospice, and Mobile Mentor. We use it internally to secure all of our employees' devices.
That's right. I get updates every now and again saying, or I get notifications saying I have to update my machine by a certain time, and it's highly inconvenient because I got 100 browser windows open, but I just have to do it. So at least we're keeping on top of it. That's good. Why doesn't every organization do this kind of over-the-air update process as opposed to what they were doing previously?
They're not using current MDM tools. A lot of companies are still using SCCM with Cloud Management Gateway, but Intune is really the best solution for it because it covers all the platforms. It covers Windows, it covers Android, it covers iPad OS, Mac OS. It's a comprehensive solution. iOS, yes.
Okay, so you can genuinely have a single pane of glass, a single system to do the OS updates for all your operating systems, all your device categories, corporate devices and BYO devices.
That is correct.
Is there any additional cost to an organization who wants to manage all their OS updates with Intune?
There's no cost if you currently own M365 licensing. It's built into the Microsoft Endpoint Manager platform.
Okay. So for any organization with an M365 license, they've got the capabilities they need. Is this a must-have or a nice-to-have capability in today's environment?
Oh, it's absolutely a must-have. Ransomware attacks are increasing, as you hear about it in the news every day. And the average cost of a ransomware attack in the U.S. is $8.6 million alone.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And with so many, as you said before, with 95% of vulnerabilities targeting Windows, I guess we really need to make sure our Windows machines are up to date.
Yes.
That's one of our primary lines of defense.
Mm-hmm.
Where does this OS update capability fit into the grand scheme of modern endpoint management?
Over-the-air updates is part of the ecosystem for all endpoints in an organization. It's key to maintaining a secure environment.
Great. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.